Ready? Let's go. One more time. Woo! Good morning, good morning. Y'all know what we gotta do. Yeah, that's right, that's right. Oh, yeah. Woo! We gotta wake them up. We gotta wake them up and wake them up. Ain't nobody fresh as me. I'm just so fresh and so clean, clean. What's good, everybody? Good morning. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Y'all know what it is. It's Tuesday. That's right, y'all. 2025. I'm your host, Bugatti NYC, and this here's our bottom line, where we be talking about this and that and that and this and this and that and that, where we be talking about this and that and that and this and this and that. Just got me pissed. How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody, how is everybody doing? Let me get this camera straight so we can get to work. That's right, y'all. That's right, y'all. That's right, y'all. How y'all doing this morning? It's your boy Bugatti NYC. I think that's about straight right there. I think that's just about straight right there. Remember, when you chime in, you got to let me know where you're chiming in from, because I like to get content from where you're chiming in from. This way we having relative conversations. Gonna leave the mic right here for now. This way you can always hear me no matter which way I turn. I just figured that one out. A little gem. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. Who is that right there? He says Joe DeMatteo. Morning. That's Rebecca. Good morning from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Who else we got up in the building? We got Batty Lynn. Good morning from Detroit. Detroit in the house. Bill Andy, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? It's your boy Bugatti NYC. This is our bottom line. Today it's Tuesday. We got a lot to go over, and we really, it's the top of the week. I got to be honest, one of my favorite times of the week. Monday and Tuesday. Like, what do you mean, Bugatti? That's when you got to go to work. That's when you got to do all the stuff. That's right. Because I like when people work. I like to see productivity. I like when people are grinding and getting things done. Once you get to Wednesday and Thursday, it's a wrap. People already thinking about the weekend. Y'all know the song, Working for the Weekend. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We got a lot to go over this morning. Let me get into these titles. I got so much in the clips today that we really got to get into. Follow-ups, new breaking news, all sorts of things that we definitely got to get into. So without any further ado, let's get into these titles. Okay, what we got on this thumbnail this morning? Y'all already see we got the backstory already lined up to go. Y'all already see I'm working early. So we got some breaking news here. You guys already saw the thumbnail, I'm sure, if you just came here, or if you probably got sent here by a like or something like that. Today's thumbnail is what? Let's get into it. We've got some breaking news where Trump calls a CNN anchor low rated. Yeah. Caitlin, what's her name? Caitlin Collins or something like that. Yeah. He had a bit of pushback with her inside of the Oval Office when he was sitting down with the president of El Salvador. And we'll get into that as well. And let's get into some of our subtitles here, which we have. We've got cartel kingpin El Mayo, once a low-key figure, now facing the spotlight. What I'm noticing here is your boy didn't do it so you guys can read it. This is what I wanted to show you, how I have to read it backwards in order for you guys to see it. So we got to do all of that over again, but it's cool. Breaking news. Trump calls a CNN anchor low rated. You guys know who I'm talking about? Caitlin Collins, when it happened in the Oval Office as they were having the meeting with the president of El Salvador. Other top stories we have: cartel kingpin El Mayo, once a low-key figure, now facing the spotlight. El Mayo, that's El Chapo's brother. He used to keep the low profile, didn't want anybody to know that he was doing things, really working with logistics and moving the stuff around. Once El Chapo got knocked, he had to take over. We're going to get into that because now he's in the spotlight and he's got court coming up, I think, next month. Last but not least, we've got Trump team says Ukraine peace deal could be dropped in days. If you've been here, you already know that we've been trying for months now to solve the war between Ukraine and Russia. As of yesterday and as of the recent days, President Trump and the staff has been getting pretty tired of trying to negotiate, and they're thinking that they've been getting played. So at some point, they're like, you know what? In a couple of days, we're just going to call this thing quits, and we're not even going to keep on entertaining, trying to help you guys out. Tired of being a middleman, and basically what we're trying to say. And with that being said, I'd like to start off today's clips with President Trump answering questions at the Easter egg roll, when basically he was answering questions about Ukraine, tariffs, and much more. I think this is really good information that we need to keep going and get into. Good morning, everybody. Let's get this going, and hopefully everybody had a good evening, because what? I know I did. Let's go.
I think they're going very well. We're going to make a lot of money. We're already at 25% on cars and aluminum and steel, taking in a lot of money, more money than this country's seen. And that's just the beginning. I don't know yet. We're going to be briefed on it right now. In fact, I'm going to the Oval Office. Say it? Would you like to go? Well, I don't know. I just have to look at the timing. We just lowered the flags throughout the country. So I will be giving you a full detail over the next 3 days. But we had very good meetings on Ukraine, Russia. We had very good meetings actually on Iran too. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. Next step is we need a little time. But we had very good meetings on Iran. We had very good, and the tariffs are going very well, as you know. Everybody wants to negotiate.
Remember Pope Francis's legacy.
He's a very good man who loved the world, and he especially loved people that were having a hard time, and that's good with me.
So he preached tolerance for migrants. He preached tolerance for
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, I hear they're doing that whole thing again. Here we go again. Just a waste of time. He is doing a great job.
Why do you still have confidence?
Because he's doing a great job. Thank you. Ask the Houthis how he's doing.
There's a hearing today on the Alien Enemies Act in the D.C. District Court. Your thoughts on that, Mr. President?
Well, we were elected to clean up the mess of this country. And we had millions and millions of people come in who are criminals, who are murderers, who are everything you can imagine, drug lords, drug dealers. They came in from prisons and from mental institutions. And I was elected to move them out, among many other things. And that's what we're doing.
Mr. President, you're by your terms.
Ask the Houthis how much dysfunction they have. There's none. Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him. We have the highest recruitment numbers I think they've had in 28 years. No, he's doing a great job. It's just fake news. They just bring up stories. I guess it sounds like disgruntled employees. You know, he was put there to get rid of a lot of bad people, and that's what he's doing. So you don't always have friends when you do that.
Should he stop using the app?
I hope to be.
The McLeod course are going to open up.
We're opening a fantastic project there, yeah. And I hope I'm going to get to see it.
We look forward to seeing it.
It's going to be great. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, will you comply with Supreme Court?
Mr. President, immigrants, you've ordered a lot of them to leave the country, but travel to Haiti is almost nearly impossible because flights have been suspended. What do you make of that?
Well, I make of the fact that we have to have a safe country. If people are in our country illegally, and if they have records that are very bad in particular, we have to get them out. I was, as you know, elected on the basis that we would have very little crime in our country. They don't want illegal immigrants. We've closed up the border. The border is now the strongest border we've ever had.
These are Haitians who came legally through that Biden-era program who there are communities, even in Texas, conservative voters saying these people should not be forced to leave.
Well, if they came legally, then they're going to be in good shape.
So you're not going to deport them. There's a Thursday deadline, Mr. Trump.
Both my parents, they work in law enforcement. My mother works for the Newark office. My father works for the Thank you. Please sign
President Trump! President Trump!
Thank you.
No, you know, I see you, sir. How are you? This is my beautiful fiance.
They're getting married in 2 weeks. You need advice for the new?
Yeah, make sure you like each other. don't get it.
Real quickly, good man. You talked about Jesus in your opening statement. How important is this country right now?
Very important. It brings the country together. It's so important that we can do that. Religion. I said, bring religion back. Religion keeps you together. Such a great thing.
And speaking of religion, yesterday we did not cover it, and we want to give a rest in peace to the Pope who lost his life yesterday, early in the morning. They said he was having respiratory problems, and this happened right after J.D. Vance met him. It was a half hour after he met him. He said that they found out that he passed. So the Pope, rest in peace to the Pope, and yes, we want to send our condolences out and respect. That's what we want to do. We want to keep on going here.
Host Brian Kilmeade. Brian, good morning to you. Thank you so much for hopping on set with us. This isn't the first time you've covered the passing of a pope, so what are your reflections right now?
I mean, John Paul II was the most titanic. I mean, this guy was iconic. He was the first to travel. He added so much personality in life, combined to take down communism. You talk about a guy that transcended politics and the papacy. I think it was him. And then the extraordinary moment when Pope Benedict says, hey, I'm alive, I'm okay, but I think it's time for me to step aside. And when he steps aside, you think about how conservative he was and how traditional he was. He was the biblical scholar. He was the one to go back in history. He was the one to what he thought would be even less mainstream, more mainstream than Pope Paul II. But when he steps aside, he's replaced by this Pope, Pope Benedict, who really wanted to change things. He didn't like the opulence. He didn't like the gold. He didn't like the fine dining that comes along with that role. And then you think about what he was able to do and really focus what he says is on the poor. And he was a big critic of President Trump. He has been in the past. He was extremely critical of our immigration policy. He had less than a 5-minute meeting with J.D. Vance less than 24 hours ago. He thought when it comes to climate change, that was something that he really wanted to focus on. And obviously, that's never been a priority here. But you can't think about anything but in the terms of a human being. He's as good as he gets. He gave his whole life for other people. He gave his sole focus to the poor. When he got to this job, he didn't use it to consolidate power. He used it to disperse it. And I was just speaking to Father Jonathan over here, and he just reminded me, too, of some of the things that he brought out was, hey, when it comes to same-sex marriage, well, let's think about that. When it comes to having people get divorced and have their second marriage in church, let's consider that. And when it comes to even priests marrying, maybe that's something we should debate. There wasn't necessarily a plan how to do it, but it was, let's think about these things. But many traditional Catholics thought, including your previous guest, I'm not sure I'm not sure that's where the Catholic Church should be heading, which leads us to the next 2 weeks.
All right, y'all. So I guess we have to do the ceremony and respectful burial, as well as, I guess, figuring out who's going to be the next Pope. If I'm correct. Don't want to say anything too hard when it comes down to religion here. I am very borderline. I don't really try to sway anyone's religion or when it comes down to your politics. That's not something that we do here. We just want to give respect to the fact that the Pope is no longer here, and we want to give our love and thanks, and hopefully God accepts him into heaven. That's what I want to say to that. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic morning and appreciating this content. We got to take it crazy now. We're going to have to go all the way down to the border because it's about to get crazy. We're about to go check out this cartel kingpin El Mayo, who once was a low figure in the cartel. Yes, now the spotlight is going to be set on him. I wanted to get everything. I wanted to get the other stories out of the front to go ahead and start getting you guys what's going on the ground now.
Drug kingpin long in the shadows is about to finally step into the spotlight. Ismael El Mayo Zambada, longtime leader of the Sinaloa cartel, is set for a court hearing on Tuesday. He allegedly ran the world's most violent drug cartel with a rancher's touch and a warlord's reach. El Mayo was no cartoon kingpin. He avoided yachts and nightclubs, preferring cattle ranches and Timberland boots. He evaded capture by authorities for over 3 decades, working on the logistics side of the Sinaloa empire, until finally taking full control of it after the arrest of El Chapo in 2016. Last July, El Mayo was finally caught, lured into the U.S. as part of an elaborate sting operation masterminded by the son of El Chapo. News Nation correspondent Jorge Ventura joining us live from San Antonio with more on El Mayo's expected court appearance this week. And Jorge, it looks like El Mayo is facing a litany of charges here, including drug distribution and murder conspiracy.
Yeah, that's right, Natasha. It's also important to remember that the Sinaloa cartel now does fall under the Foreign Terrorist Organization. Now, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, the co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, is set to appear in federal court in Brooklyn this Tuesday. His legal team is pushing to avoid the death penalty in exchange to reach a government deal that will give cooperation to the U.S. government on the Sinaloa cartel's inner workings. Now, El Mayo's arrest last July was almost something out of a movie. He says that he was lured by Joaquin Guzman Lopez, that's the son of El Chapo, to a meeting in Sinaloa under the pretense to discuss property. But once there, El Mayo was ambushed, beaten, and forcibly transported across the border into the United States aboard a private jet. Soon as that jet landed in El Paso, Texas, federal agents arrested both men. Mexican officials later confirmed that their government did not participate in this operation. Now, for decades, El Mayo Zambada was...
You guys do me a favor. If y'all appreciating this content, I'd like for you to go ahead and double tap that screen just to let everybody know that we're here and what we're doing. We got over 221 people in the building, and I really like to make sure more people get over here to see what we got going on. How do we do that? By you going ahead and double tapping that screen. We've had 3 stories come up. I'd like to come into the comments and see what you guys got to say. Don't just want to play clips. Let's go. Here we go. Joe De Mateo, send them straight to El Salvador Super Jail. Mr. Good Citizen said principles. Jamie says, good morning. What we got over here? Mr. Good Citizen says, Mary, if they're actually lived up to their principles, they wouldn't be losing record numbers in that church. What we got here? Waffle Jackson says, I hear you on the red shoes, Mary L. What we got here? We got Mary L says, the fact that the Pope wants Catholics to consider so many things tells you everything you need to know about him and the state of the church. Also, he really loved those red shoes. Ooh, Marielle, okay. Neo says, I'm so happy this clown is on his way to meet his creator. May the Lord have mercy on him. Wow, Neo. Let's go, says Tim Harsh. Good morning, Tim. Good morning. Miss Longo says, hello again, everyone. Hello, Misty. Hello, Misty. How you doing? Neo, all religions lead to God. Mr. Good Citizen says, and Christians don't agree with the Catholic Church, so what? Bill Andy says, first Italian Pope, ? Neo says, hallelujah. Whoa. Jenny says hi. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Jenny. Mr. Good Citizen, RIP to the Pope, but he's only a man like me and you. Yes, please understand that, guys, and think that's another thing. RIP to the Pope, says Batty Lynn. But understand something, buddy. Don't play around with religion like that, because people, they take the Pope very serious and very, protected, and people are very strong in their religion, and that's why I'm the way that I am when I talk about it. We're going to keep on getting the rest of this out, because we got this El Mayo situation, and then we're going to keep on going. We got a lot more in the clip, you guys, but do me a favor. You appreciate the content, go ahead and double tap that and get those likes up. Really appreciate that, you guys.
Considered one of the most powerful and most invincible drug lords in the world, a co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, Zambada was the business brain behind the operation, focusing on logistics, money laundering, and international trafficking. Unlike his partner El Chapo, El Mayo avoided the spotlight and evaded arrest for years. Under El Mayo's leadership, authorities say that the Sinaloa cartel expanded its global footprint into at least 47 countries, trafficking vast amounts of cocaine, heroin, meth, and fentanyl across international borders. At El Chapo's trial, Vicente Zambada, El Mayo's own son, testified that his father and El Chapo ran the cartel together, and even described a moment when the corrupt Mexican politicians approached him about helping ship 100 tons of cocaine in the oil tanker. At this time, El Mayo is facing a long list of serious federal charges, including drug trafficking, conspiracy, and operating a criminal enterprise. Those charges do span multiple jurisdictions, including New York, Illinois, Washington, D.C., and California. Following his July arrest, cartel violence erupted in parts of Mexico as factions loyal to El Mayo clashed with the sons of El Chapo, known as Los Chapitos. A turf war has intensified in northern Mexico, and some U.S. officials now warn that the power vacuum could lead to even more bloodshed. Now, the court has heard El Mayo's claim that he was allegedly kidnapped and not extradited to the U.S., that he was brought to American soil against his will. And Natasha, when we first reported this story back in July, Mexican officials did confirm they had no idea that American authorities conducted this operation on Mexican soil. It was not until 48 hours later after El Mayo was finally arrested, Natasha.
Yeah, I remember those details. It is fascinating.
That's a crazy setup right there. It don't matter how they got you, it's the fact that they did El Mayo. But guess what? When you got those two cartels still back there fighting and going against each other, all they're doing right now, they've been setting each other up. One of them was in jail, was like, you know what? I'm going to help my fraction by going ahead and setting him up. So they set up El Mayo so that their fraction could be stronger. Now, since they found out that they set and organized that up, now both of those guys are going to war. That's basically what's going on with that. So a lot of craziness is going on over there right now in Mexico, right? And let's keep it going because it's just really continuing to happen over there with the same escaped iller. Remember this escaped iller who Killed, the Mexican police officer? Yeah. Cesar Hernandez has been captured in Mexico. He's got charges pending, and they finally caught him. He's looking at 60 years over there, and then he's going to probably get extradited to do his time over here because he ran from a charge in Los Angeles, which was his original charge.
Botched operation that cost an officer her life. A convicted killer on the run is back in custody tonight. Mexican authorities arrested escaped inmate Cesar Hernandez 4.5 months after he escaped custody in Kern County. 17 Cecilia Trevino has followed this story from day one and brings us the latest details.
Presuntamente el arma pareciera ser la misma.
Armed with the same firearm that killed a Mexican officer. That's how officials say they found Cesar Hernandez in Tijuana on Thursday. He was tracked by a car he allegedly stole from a citizen and found in a house just 10 miles away from the first house he fled from a week before. Attorney General for the state of Baja California, Dr. Maria Elena Andrade Ramirez, led a press conference Friday afternoon. She recognized the department for successfully serving an arrest warrant on Hernandez for killing Officer Abigail Esparza Reyes.
Como ustedes ven, él se escapó solo.
Attorney General Dr. Ramirez said Hernandez did not get help to escape. He now faces up to 60 years in Mexican prison for homicide, and extradition will not be considered until he faces justice for his crimes in Mexico.
Va a enfrentar los cargos.
Attorney General Dr. Andrade emphasized her agency is not the same one that led the failed apprehension a week earlier. Same reason they can't answer questions for that operation or what went wrong. Adding American authorities did not play any part in this operation.
De parte de las autoridades norteamericanas.
35-year-old Cesar Hernandez had been on the run after escaping prison custody on December 2nd, 2024. He was being transported into the Delano courthouse in a case where he was accused of having a weapon and drugs in his cell. Experts say he probably made a key to get free from his shackles and allegedly punched a guard before jumping a fence and fleeing on foot. Though this has never been confirmed by CDC officials, video obtained by KGT shows Hernandez running through the field in front of the Delano City Hall. He is clearly seen without handcuffs or chains around his ankles. Though a correctional officer is seen chasing him, the officer does not shoot. The search went international early April when Hernandez was seen in a house in southern Tijuana in the Barcelona neighborhood. Details on this failed operation have not been publicly shared. In Bakersfield, Cecilia Trevino, 17 News.
Now, if his fat is fat ASS would have been able to catch up to him or shoot him with a taser, maybe they would have been able to subdue him so that he would have not been able to make it to Mexico to be able to do that pow pow out the window to take that officer's life. I mean, come on, these officers look terrible out here. Did you see that run? He was looking like he was like he was losing wind as he was running behind this guy. I would have, you know what I'm saying? If you're really trying to catch somebody, you catch him. And like, what was all that about? Like, come on now. Did y'all see that? Like, that was a poor representation of an officer. They shouldn't even show that. And that's the reason why he got away. I'm in the comments. Come on, what y'all got for me? What y'all got for me over here? I'm in the comments. Okay, we got Frederick says 238 in the chat with only 43 likes. Come on now, let's get those likes up. Joe says, give cops Ozempic or some shit. Joe said, give him Ozempic or some shit. Frederick says, no effort at all. Yo, you seen that, Fred? That was crazy. Jake says, shalom from Israel. Shalom, Jake. Yo, that was crazy, right? Natalie says, thanks for sharing this story. Is it mainstream? No, it's not. Jamie says, made a key. Wow. Yo, check this out. What is the fake shows going on? Okay. What else we got here? Freddie Wright says, Oklahoma City is here. OKC, what's good? What's good, Kentucky? Thank you, Neo. Anthony says, London, Kentucky. That's what's up. Everybody laughing at this one. Ace, Will and 9. Oh, shit, this kind of does. What we got here? 9, your speakers look like 2 upside down Colt 45s. I need to put down the J. You stupid. Jimmy, we love Chapo. Yo, you crazy. The C pilot says, uneducated black man doesn't know what mirror cam is. Whatever. Demonetized. Don't forget to put El Mayo on my BLT. Yo, you crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy. Good upside down joke. The speakers are not upside down. That's the way that they're supposed to be. Anyway, now let's keep on going, you guys, because I want you guys to see what happened when actually what JD Vance is up to. I think it's a bit late to be doing this, but why not? Because what they're trying to do is form alliances. He's been going over to different countries and trying to substitute China instead of us having to rely on them so much for all sorts of things, semiconductors and chips and things like that. So now guess what? We're going to India to try to get some people to make some stuff for us. Y'all don't want to do it for us in China? We're going to send JD to break down the situation and see if we can make something happen in India. So let's go.
Vance is on a 4-day trip to India, where he'll meet with the India Prime Minister of the Economy, Trade, and Geopolitical Ties. It's big because you know what we're looking for in trade. It comes as one Wall Street Journal editor suggests India could be poised to take a bigger role in U.S. trade amid Trump's tariffs on China. Hudson Institute senior fellow and foreign policy expert Rebecca Heinrich joins us now. Rebecca, this is interesting for him to go right to India and then talk trade immediately 24 hours after China is warning other countries not to make deals with us.
Right. India is going to be one of our key partners. India is a key partner for the United States to counter China. Just the stronger India is, the closer we collaborate, yes, on trade, but also as we collaborate militarily through the AUKUS arrangement with the Australians. That's going to be really good to slow China's aspirations to act aggressively throughout the region.
I'll take everything but Indian street food, please.
Note that as President Trump has conducted these tariffs and now has a pause on our key allies and partners, China's been going on this charm offensive to try to get these other countries not to work with the United States, but to instead work with China. So very important to see Vice President Vance go to India to make sure that they are collaborating, talking, and looking to make deals.
And there's a big imbalance between the two nations, judging by like the strength and depth of the economy. In India have potential, so things are weighted against us, so to speak, and we are looking to move manufacturing, some of it more logical to go from China to India, more than it is to go from China to America.
That's exactly right. So we want to get key things that are really crucial for American sovereignty. There's certain things that we only want to make in the United States. But then there are other things that are perfectly good to make in key partners with stable places that are reliable. India is a great one. Obviously, the European market's another great one for reshoring. But India, and they have a huge, high-skilled workforce.
And they're cheap, so tell the truth. Same sort of situation like where it's going to be at another country. You can actually get them to work for really cheap, and they do actually do good work. I'm going to tell you guys how I know this for a fact. Go look at this rapper named Boogotti's video. It's called Pressure. Dude is off the chain. I'm talking about his music is fire. Dude is nasty. His name is BOOGOTTINYC. He did a video, right? And he edited it. He did it in his living room. And he sent it to a guy in India on Fiverr. When the guy edited it and finished and sent it back to him, he asked him, how much is it going to be? The guy in India said $45. Well, Boogotti said, there's no way in the world that I'm going to pay you $45 for such good work. He said, well, what are you going to give me? So I gave this guy, Boogotti, gave him about 250 bucks. The guy was so happy. He said, oh my God, I could feed my family off of this for 2 months. Is there anything else that I can do for you, Mr. Boogotti? The guy, did a couple of animations and a couple of other things, and he's been friends with that artist Boogotti ever since. So that just gives you an idea of how much they get paid over there, and the same sort of wages, similar and relevant to China. And that's why they try to get cheap work. And anytime you guys want to get something really done, I know this guy named Boogotti who recommends going to Fiverr. That's what you guys should do. In the comments again, want to know what you guys got to say. Everyone quiet, let Unc speak, Votex said. And then we got, he knows why the rooster wakes up screaming. Oh, you crazy. Joe DiMatteo at Frizzy, I don't know what you're saying. Joe said, y'all wake up mad. Joe says, why y'all so bitter? It's 6:30 in the morning, laughing my ass off. Mr. Good Citizen said, and the U.S. doesn't care. Mofos show that Goodwill suit is adorable. Thank you, homie. Really appreciate that. It's not a Goodwill. I think the jacket is Burlington, right? And I think I got the pants from Burlington too. But it's not the clothes. It's how you look in them. Because let me ask you something. If you had this on, would you look like this? Come on, baby. You got to wake up earlier than me. And I don't even sleep. So in order for you to try to hit me with a banger, you got to come harder than that. No homo, no diddy. Back in the comments, if we talk about the U.S., everyone is laughing, says Frizzer. Well, we got Mika says, you not going to perform a mic drop? Oh, I might just do that. I'm going to do a spin, Mika, and then I'm going to do the mic drop and pick it up on some James Brown stuff. Real talk, real talk. Homeless Helper says he ran like he was paid not to try to shoot. Right, he ran like he was like, come on now, you gotta look like it was Police Academy 6 with the fat people. Citizens on the patrol. Police Academy, remember that? Remember Police Academy? We actually have the real Police Academy now in our cities now, because they don't know what they're doing. They really just work for the hours. They don't really work to try to do anything. We got to keep on going because you know what we're about. So now we got to get to our header right here, because Trump and Caitlyn, they've been going at it for a while. This is one sitting where Trump goes after the fake news. And I'm not saying it, you guys call it fake news, right? And he scores with he goes back and forth with the CNN anchor, Caitlyn Collins, while they're meeting with the president of El Salvador, President Bukele. So that's who they were meeting with. When he semi-roasted her a bit, I want you guys to see a little bit about the sparring that happened a couple of days ago. Check this out.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor. Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the man who your administration says was mistakenly deported? The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Well, let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs, if they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him?
And you are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Miller, wait a minute. Can you just also respond to that question? Because, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant. because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also, please?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan to ask for anything to get it back?
And what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
in our favor.
In our favor, against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time. No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
I asked President Bukele, can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to have suggested that I smuggle terrorists into the United States, right? How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's...
All right, y'all. So that y'all see where that came from and what it ignited when he tore her up. He went into CNN right there. CNN and the AP, they really don't have a really good rapport at the White House. Back in the comments, y'all. What y'all got to say about this? What y'all got on this? Love it, says Tim. What else we got? Y'all, I'm dying laughing. Bukele is doing a good job with gang control in El Salvador. Went from being the most dangerous country in Central America. Now is the safest place in Central America. Yo, who just said that? That was Angel Colombian. Wow, that's crazy. Natalie says the president is taking care of business in Venezuela. Mr. 420 to you says FCNN. G says I love Jesus. There you go. There you go. What else we got up in here? Who else we got? Y'all double tap that screen if y'all appreciating the content. Go ahead and double tap that screen. Scott Fraser says cheese or toast. Sounds great about now. Stephen Miller says it's lethal. Okay, that's crazy, says Captain. Natalie says, now we are seeing all of these Dems going there to visit. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Lee and Leo says, roses are red, violets are blue. I've got Alzheimer's, cheese is on toast. There you go. Scott Fraser says, great, cool. Great, cool, it's the best blue. Whatever you got. All right. Joe Bukele is fighting to be my favorite South American president with Javier Milei. Okay, y'all like what's going on, but do y'all see what's going on with Pete Hegseth? Because right about now, the response from the White House is the Secretary, Pam Bondi, is basically saying something about a group chat allegations that's been spread about the White House. But everybody seems to be standing behind Pete right now. Y'all got me dying laughing. Yes, y'all see tears coming down my face because I'm laughing at you guys. Y'all got me rolling early in the morning. That's the reason why I do this. But let's keep on going right here because the White House responds to Pete Hegseth when they're basically saying that I want you to hear from them. Let's go.
But I do try. I want to end with this. Front page of the New York Times, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth back in the news about staffers had to be dismissed and a second signal chat that took place. Where's the president stand on this?
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring, so they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job, and the president stands strongly behind him.
Caroline, I also think it's important to bring up that this chat happened before confirmation. While confirmation was taking place, and also it just is kind of very curious for me. They're not interested in what these people were leaking, which seems serious. They're interested in the Secretary of Defense, who wasn't.
That's right. They are lying about the Secretary of Defense. Let me reiterate, no classified information was shared in these chats. But you do have leakers who are leaking classified information, which is a crime, I will add. And so the administration and the president have taken a very strong stance against anyone who leaks, especially sensitive and classified information that can put our troops and our war fighters at risk. And you've seen the secretary has taken very strong action to rein in the leakers at the Pentagon, and he will continue to do so, I'm sure.
Right, absolutely. Thanks so much, Caroline.
In our day, we have never heard about leaking information from the government. We never heard about stuff like that getting out. If it was a big deal, right? Now with all the cell phones and accessibility, I have no idea what's being leaked, how, where, and what. It's just crazy out here right now. It's crazy out here. So yeah, what do you guys think about Pete Hegseth? Do you guys really feel as if that's the Pentagon and the people that work there that are pushing back and leaking information? Or do you think that Pete don't know what he's doing? I want to know what you guys have to say about that, because this is not the first time that something's come up with Mr. Hegseth. And yes, it's on both sides now. I want to know what you guys have to say about that. Is it a setup? Are they just hating on Hegseth? Or is there smoke where there's fire? Let's keep on going, you guys, because now I want you guys to see Pam Bondi. She's finally talking about this transgender lawsuit that she's bringing against Poland Spring, what it means to be from Maine. Because they just can't get right when it comes down to getting boys out of women's sports, out of girls' sports. So Poland Spring, Maine, y'all need to step to the front right now. So whoever's from Maine, y'all get on up here real quick, because we have to have a conversation about y'all. I'm going to call y'all can't get rights.
Today, the Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. Pretty basic stuff. This is a violation of Title IX. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety. I've met many of these women throughout the past weeks and months, and what they have been through is horrific. We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about. We have repeatedly notified Maine of its infractions and urged them to remedy the situation to protect women. We've stripped grants from Maine through other departments, And we are going to continue to fight for women. Let me give you some examples. Let me give you a timeline. This timeline, I think, is pretty important.
This is crazy.
So in February 2024, these are just a few examples. A biological boy started competing in women's ski races and cross-country races in Maine. He came in first in the 5K with a time that would have been 43rd among men. In February 2025, a biological boy won first place in the pole vaulting competition in Maine's indoor track and field meet. He beat every other girl by a significant margin. That qualified him for regional championships. That took a spot away from a young woman in women's sports. Shame on him. February 21st, 2025, President Trump has the governors at the White House. President Trump has the exchange with Janet Mills. He asked her about the issue. Her response, "We'll see you in court." Well, we still didn't sue. HHS and the Department of Ed opened investigations in an attempt to get them to comply. They both found violations. And in March, Maine refused to comply. I want to read you this letter.
What drives an entrepreneur to create? Is it fear?
I think you cannot think straight if
This is from the Maine Attorney General to the Department of Education. We will not sign the resolution agreement. We do not have revisions or a counterproposal. We agree we are at an impasse. Nothing in Title IX or its implementing regulations prohibits schools from allowing transgender girls and women to participate on girls and women's sports teams. Well, they must not be reading the same Title IX that we're reading.
Yeah, so we going to court. They going to sue them. I think it's right. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. You guys need to go ahead and keep on pushing because it's just not fair. You saw those rankings? This dude would have came in 43rd if he would have been competing against men, but he came in first place against women. Pole vaulting, you got that dude, the one that I always put up in the clips. That's like Jim Carrey's, that character that Jim Carrey plays, Viracosa, when he's like, "Hi, I'm Viracosa." Yeah, that's who you playing against with all the hair on the chest and everything. Just because you got a ponytail and you wearing tights, that don't mean that you a woman. That's dead wrong. And again, you got all these women working hard to get to that situation, to be able to compete, working all their years, all their lives, and then you got this one person that just come up in there dressed up like Viracosa, like me with tights on, with a wig on, and beating everybody. Meanwhile, I'm trash when I'm playing against other men. Come on now. That's just like saying, you know what? I can just take advantage of this sport because they're letting it happen. This is crazy. Why is our country allowing this crap? I'm in the comments, y'all. What we got here? Deacon Blue says, this isn't a federal issue. Let states decide how sports will be ran. And okay. It's going to happen statewide now. You're right. DJ says, Aquaman has a ponytail and tights. Yeah, what's that about? Like, what's up with that? They tried to make a female Spider-Man, Batman. Like, what's going on here? This isn't what's going on with this? It's crazy, yo. Marielle, her voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Unbearable. Oh, yeah, you talking about Pam. Good morning, Indians. Good morning. What else you got? Sleechy says, I can't afford to live, but I'm really glad Trump is chasing identity policies. What else we got here? I need my eggs, says Tyler. What else we got? We got Big Seller says, this affects no one seriously. Let the sports federations figure it out and keep your bigotry out of it. Okay. Sue Me says, oh, come on, Governor Mills. It's the disgrace. What else we got here? We got Risk that says, All the stock markets has nothing to do with that. Okay, you're trying to worry about the money right now. These people are worried about the money. Okay, so if it's about the money, we got a situation right now where Trump is talking about the car companies are coming back in record numbers. Is that going to help the economy? The people that's talking about the economy right now, do you think that car factories coming back is going to help the economy? That's a way, since you want to talk about money, maybe we're going to get some supply companies, we're going to have all sorts of accessories and things like that. So is there a possibility that we're going to have some more money coming in due to this?
Before I gave a little bit of a pause to lower it just a little bit because, you know, it's a transition. You have to have a little flexibility. But we were making $2 billion and $3 billion a day. We never made money like that. Your question is the greatest question. No financial reporter wants to ask me. It could replace the income tax. That's the kind of money we're talking about.
Pues prometió que no habría impuestos sobre.
I know you're going to get mad at the Spanish, but he's answering the questions, and I want this information. Get over it.
Sobre las propinas, ni sobre las horas extra, ni sobre el seguro social. ¿Podría cumplir o vas a cumplir con esas promesas?
And a mortgage deduction or an interest deduction on cars. If you buy a car, we're trying to, all I can say is we're trying like hell.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, it's really not, if it's up to me, 100% I can promise, but I have some strange people I deal with, and we have to get it approved. But the no tax on tips I love, no tax on overtime is incredible, no tax on Social Security for the seniors is great, and the deduction of interest, you buy a car, and if you buy the car, and it's only if it's made in America, otherwise who cares, right? But and more factories are moving back. I think you see that. Everybody sees it. A lot of people don't like talking about it, but everybody sees it. We have record number of car factories coming back, and other factories too. You just saw today on the computer chips and all of the things related to computer. You see what's going on?
Yes.
It's crazy, even beyond my wildest expectations. But
yeah, because again, when you're dealing with one part of something, you're going to have accessories and parts that go along with that. So now the computer chips is going crazy. So now the computer, everybody that has to do with technology, computers and things like that. Okay, now that market will start to thrive. I want to know if you guys think that since more car factory companies are coming back, per what President Trump says, do you feel that other markets that have to do with cars are gonna start to thrive? Do me a favor, you guys, if y'all appreciate the content, you've been here for a while, we've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning, double tap that screen and let everybody know that we're here just to get those likes up. We really appreciate that. Just double tap that screen, that's all we need. Okay, we got Tweakin says, yeah, tax those who create hundreds of thousands of jobs, sure. Fresry says, no one wants American cars. Deacon Blue says, factories aren't coming to America. He says, Doom 1986 says, we're already overtaxed. If anything, lower taxes and cut the fat. Okay, because you know what? You guys are right. I don't see factories coming back to the United States. That's how I feel. I feel like we're more service driven. Even if factories come back to the United States, do you think we're going to have the manpower to run those factories? Do you think that people are going to really want to work back in factories like they used to back in the 40s and in the 30s and the 50s? That's my concern. We're kind of a bougie country now. Oh, we don't want to go work at no factory. Or maybe I'm wrong. There might be people that want to go work at a factory. What y'all think about it? Would y'all work at a factory? Building cars if the pay was good? $30 an hour, $45 an hour, something like that. Would y'all do it? Where are these factories? Exactly. Okay, Alex says, where are these factories? Y'all are so damn impatient. Who said that? Battle says, y'all impatient. Tweakin says, exactly. You can't run people back in time. Spartacus says, we have to change our thought process. Neo says, yes, he'll go work there. Joe says, my 1999 Ford F-150 is still going strong. American cars made in this prime are great. Okay. And Ancient says warehouses are some of the biggest employers in the U.S. Of course, people would work factories. Okay, thank you so much for that, Ancient. What else we got? We got Melissa that says, I guess they do want to keep it a secret. Deacon says American factories use foreign-made parts, so we still need them is what you're saying. Rhonda says you got to watch the things that's when you touch a few things, it affects a lot of things like energy and eggs. Pro says make America great, but build it before again. Okay, built it before again. Deacon says, I want you to wear Nikes, not make them. I want you to wear Nikes, not make them. All right, y'all, since we're talking about cars, we're going to keep on going right now. Yes, if you guys want to see the rest of this interview, y'all can go on over to, what's that, Noticias, and y'all can get the rest of this. But we got to go ahead and move on, moving right along, because we got some people that's going to get those handcuffs. You know how they say next, right? Watch your head. Then you in a car like this for doing something stupid. 19-year-old busted and disgusted, yeah, for setting Teslas on fire. He might get 30 years in jail. Check this out. I want y'all to see this.
We're following breaking news right now as federal authorities arrest a suspect in the arson at a South Kansas City Tesla dealership. The suspect, a 19-year-old man who lives in Parkville but attends college in Boston. We're also learning just how authorities tracked him down over the past month. Fox 4's Jacob Sloan continues our coverage live near the Tesla Center in South Kansas City. Police, what are they telling you, Jacob?
Well, the FBI says that Owen McIntyre used 2 Molotov cocktails and destroyed more than $200,000 worth of equipment here at the Tesla Center, including 2 Tesla Cybertrucks. Those documents continue to say that McIntyre is a college student in Boston. He was here on spring break back in Kansas City. Authorities found security camera footage that shows McIntyre parking his car a short walk away from the Tesla dealership here. The FBI then says McIntyre lit 2 Molotov cocktails and threw them at the trucks. The attack damaged those 2 Cybertrucks as well as 2 charging stations here. Agents were able to match the license plate on that car to McIntyre's family. They also tracked his cell phone, social media activity, and flight records and arrested him today in Boston. Now, I want to show you the statement from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi on the arrest. She says, "Let me be extremely clear to anyone who still wants to firebomb a Tesla property. You will not evade us. You will be arrested. You will be prosecuted. You will spend decades behind bars. It is not worth it." The Attorney General and the FBI Director have repeatedly called these attacks on Tesla campuses domestic terrorism. Now, McIntyre's not facing any terrorism charges, but the charges that he does face, John, could land him more than 30 years in federal prison.
Strong words from the U.S. Attorney General tonight.
Imagine being 49 years old when you go to and when you get out of jail. You've been there since you was 19. So you got 30, you're gonna have to do 30 years for this nonsense. 49 years old getting out of jail for throwing some Molotovs at a Tesla. And it kind of looked a little, to me, I don't know. Kind of looked like, little long hair going on. And you ain't from LA, so what's your reason for looking like a surfer boy? I don't know. I don't want to put no title on him, but he looked kind of fruity looty. I don't know. Y'all call it. Back to the comments, y'all. What he said? Tim Hart says, he's pretty too. They're going to love him, right? Maybe he wanted to go in there, huh? Maybe he wanted to go in there, Tim. Chris says, our economy was set up for us to be the shoppers of the world, but we effed up. It's over. Tweakin says, super sus, right? You look mad sus. Vandalism isn't a federal offense. Okay. Zesty. Look zesty, right? Yeah, what else we got? We got Doom 1986 says, a gaming channel, no charging with terrorism on top. Stop being nice to these crazy people. Yeah, you definitely should charge them with terrorism because that'll give them a big charge right there. Spartacus says retirement and jail. Deacon says judges have recommended sentencing for vandalism. It's not a federal crime. Do not fart on Teslas, people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not. Okay. Anybody know about the case with Bunny Holmes? Yeah, kind of when she was young, she set up somebody and did a pow and set this girl up. They also think that she's responsible for 6 other people not being here. Well, she just got denied parole. Personally, I think it's a good thing, especially about them other 5 people that they don't know about. Because you letting somebody go after doing all of this time for doing this crime, and there's other cases that we don't know about. she probably should have been in there for the rest of her life. I don't know if you guys know anything about Bunny Holmes, but she was supposed to get parole and she was denied. So check this out. I think it's a good thing because the people that she pow are no longer going to be here. So I think that that's actually a good thing because it's just not right to do something like that to somebody and think that, you know, you're going to be able to get out on parole or something like that. So no, we're not going for that, Bunny. Keep it moving. And she's a big girl, boy. Woo!
For Bunny Holmes. She's the woman convicted of orchestrating a murder in Huntington in 2004.
Yeah, she was originally sentenced to life with mercy, meaning she was eligible for parole after 15 years. That parole hearing took place last month, and Holmes was granted parole. But, as discovered in WSAZ investigation, the Cabell County prosecutor said a scheduling error by the Department of Corrections led to an early parole for Holmes.
Have anything to say to the Morgan family?
Shirlethia Bunny Holmes was stone silent from the moment she arrived and all throughout the proceedings she had hoped would ultimately lead to her freedom.
Would you like to say anything to family members at all?
Instead, Cabell County Circuit Judge Chad Lovejoy ruled that Holmes is not eligible for parole until November of 2026.
She was getting credit. She was serving a federal sentence. She doesn't get 2 bites of the apple.
So now this is the perfect example of what could happen to that guy with the Tesla situation. And that's not even for a murder. If you're getting 30 years, she did 15. Watch how young she looked when she went in. She's still a big back, and I could say that because of her crime. But yeah.
Just for committing 2 crimes.
Holmes was convicted of ordering a hit on Wendy Morgan in 2004 and sentenced to life with mercy, making her eligible for parole in 15 years. Exactly when the clock started ticking on those 15 years was the question behind the current legal proceedings. Holmes' attorney pointed to a resentencing hearing 2 years after her conviction, where Judge Alfred Ferguson, who presided over the Wendy Morgan case, said Bunny should be given credit for any time served for the murder.
You agree with me the court speaks through its orders, right? Absolutely. So what is meant from this court is what is put down in those orders, right?
But prosecutor Jason Spears brought Judge Ferguson out of retirement and up on the stand, where he reiterated his original ruling that Bunny's prison term would begin only after she had already finished serving her time on federal drug charges in November of 2011.
Do you recall what your order was related to when she would serve her time conviction on the murder?
Surely, yeah. Well, she had a prior conviction in federal court that I understood was drugs. And she was serving that sentence at that time.
That means Bunny's hearing in March, in which she was granted parole, is null and void. She'll have to do it all over again in November of 2026. The judge's decision obviously satisfied the prosecution's request regarding the Morgan case, but investigators say Bunny was also the focus of an investigation into the deaths of 4 teens in the 2005 prom night murders, even though she was never charged.
Until I get to go to court and get some justice for my child, I'm never going to sleep on it.
So this is the person I'm concerned about, and the person and the people that are not being heard, and the other 3 parents for the other children. Because next year, Bunny coming up for parole, y'all. And from the way it looked, they was already trying to let her out on a technicality and on other stuff. So guess what's going to happen the next time she come up for parole? 9 times out of 10, they're going to let her out. I'm in the comments. What y'all got to say about that? Spartacus, boy, she aged fast. Jail does that to you? Kendra says, whoa, what's that? Doc says, wow, yeah, Doc says, yeah, she had something to do with the prom night murders. Okay, Kendra says, at Maine. Tweaking, she said, what's up, Maine? Kendra says, what's up, at Maine? Tweaking Panda says, that West has a hard time doing this job. Maine Arbor says, hey y'all, what's up, Maine Arbor? What's good, everybody? Kendra said, what's up, Spartacus? Kendra says, at Rebecca. What else? Angel Columbiana says, yes, Trump don't have time for the New World Order shenanigans. They are all gonna go down. And Mr. 420 says, Lumpy Holmes. Good morning, Kendra from Rebecca. We got Natalie Good Citizen, good morning. Name sounds familiar, like she was on a true crime show. Spartacus says, good morning, Kendra. Doc Duct Tape says, I'm gonna go look it up right now. Yeah, go look it up. Yeah, go look it up. Let me know if y'all know anything about that case. If y'all want me to go into it a little further, I definitely will. But we got to keep it going because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on now. Like this idiot, a U.S. citizen who hijacked a plane in Belize was killed by an armed passenger. First of all, how you get on a private jet and you got a pistol? Second of all, how you think you're going to hijack a plane with a knife? So yeah, American citizen, yes, who hijacked the plane in Belize was killed by an armed passenger. He tried to use a knife to hijack the plane. Apparently, he had told the pilot to land the plane so they can get more fuel. But as soon as the plane landed, that passenger, pow, pow, right to the dome. Right to the dome. Two to the dome. And now he's gone. They calling that passenger a hero. They thanking him. If anything, they need to pay his rent for the month because he definitely saved them. That's crazy. Check this out, y'all. I don't know if y'all heard about this in Belize, but I'm going to show you.
The dramatic hijacking involving Americans in the Central American country of Belize. Police say an American citizen hijacked a small plane at knife point. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers.
Tonight, the dramatic scene on a runway in Belize. Passengers running away from a small plane.
Y'all appreciate the content. We have been here since 6 o'clock. I'm proving it right now by wiping the sweat from my brow. All we're going to ask you guys to do is double tap that screen so we can get those likes up. That makes more people come over here and gets the channel more views. We don't bother you about the tips and things like that because we know it's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get that money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and cash money spent. You'll have a whole lot of bitches jumping ship. So do us a favor, double tap that screen if you appreciate the content. Normally, if I'm somewhere for longer than 5 minutes, I like it. So go ahead and double tap that screen and I won't stop the video anymore. Let's keep on going, y'all, about this hijacking going on in Belize.
As authorities with guns raced toward it. On board, an alleged hijacker who was a U.S. citizen shot dead by a passenger with a gun. It all happened aboard a flight from Corozal to San Pedro. 14 passengers aboard, including 2 Americans. Police say the plane was hijacked by U.S. citizen Akinyela Sawa Taylor, wielding a knife shortly after takeoff. Officials say the hijacker demanding to be taken out of the country, insisting the plane land to get more fuel. But as the plane was touching down, officials say a passenger aboard the flight with a licensed gun shoots and kills the suspect.
We're praying for him. He's our hero, I must say.
Lindsay, the U.S. Embassy in Belize say they are aware of the case and working with local police. Lindsay?
Matt.
Hey, man, that's one time. I don't mind my homie having a strap. Go get the strap. Go get the strap. Go get the strap. Yeah, man. Uh-oh, we got something on the sidelines here. I'm going to cheat. I see somebody's face, and it looked like it could be the dude that did it. So we're going to cheat and go outside of the clip.
As an owner of Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I know how to make slick-looking goggle/glasses.
We want to get back to our top story. That international terror in the skies over Belize is now hitting home.
We are learning the suspected hijacker shot dead just hours ago on a small airplane was from the North County area. 5 Minute Side's Robert Townsend tracked down a relative of the man. What have you learned, Robert?
Okay. Kelly and Rennie, I can tell you this. Investigators identified the suspected hijacker as Akinyela Taylor. His nephew says hearing their loved one was at the center of today's violent aircraft hijacking has rocked their family. Investigators say the early morning terror went on for nearly 2 hours Thursday over the skies of Belize. This video shows terrified passengers on the small plane. Police say around 8:30 St. Louis time, military veteran Akinyela Taylor hijacked the plane and went on a knife-wielding attack. And this is the first time you're finding out about all this?
Yes, sir.
This man tells 5 on your side the 49-year-old Taylor was his uncle. The nephew asked us to not show his face or release his name.
I don't think he'd do something like this.
This is a big shock to you and all of your family members?
Yeah, it is.
Investigators say the airplane was carrying 14 passengers and 2 crew members at the time.
We immediately made our way to the runway. I must say, as the plane landed, it ran out of fuel. So again, God is good.
Taylor's nephew didn't know his uncle allegedly stabbed 2 passengers and a pilot until I told him. Investigators say one of the wounded passengers then shot and killed Taylor.
I have no idea what's going on.
The suspect's nephew tells me Taylor was married and a father of 4. His nephew lived with the family in North St. Louis County. We're also told Taylor served 20 years in the military and held an office job. And you saw him 2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
He was okay?
Yep, he's okay. He's not on any medicine. He had no sign of any post-traumatic stress disorder.
As Taylor's picture makes headlines around the world, his family and neighbors are just stunned by the violent airplane mystery.
Very sad that people were on a plane either going there or coming home from something, and now they're thrust in a situation of their no control of their own.
That man had blood on him, the one that we was looking right at into the camera. He basically had blood on his back. So they said he stabbed the pilot and 2 passengers. So I guess there was possibly a possibility where the 2 passengers probably tried to subdue him at first, and he just poked him. Yeah. Crazy, y'all. Craziness. What y'all got to say about this? Main Arbor, Joe laughing. What else you got? Eric, he had some sort of PTSD. I think so too, guys. Joe says, I'm simply cannot believe this. Main Arbor says, FAFO, yep. What we got? Rabbit Gunman says, yes, sir. What else we got? Alex says, I am trying to subscribe. When I try, I just go to YouTube and you disappear. I don't know. Maybe you got to wait till I get off. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know. YouTube do that sometime. As long as you double tap right now, I appreciate it. But come back to the channel and then go ahead and subscribe that way. I really would appreciate that, guys. Main Arbor, America saves the day again. There you go. Haywood, so a good guy with a gun saved everybody. Go figure. That's why it's good for us to carry them straps. Eric said he's a hero. The other one, this Rabbit Gunman says, that explains it. Listen to the name. Listen to the name, he said. Jamel says, since you hit that hustle and flow, you got a like for me, champ. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm working. I'm sweating. And I'm really putting it down for you guys this morning. I don't come in for nothing. I do what I got to do when I come to work. This is work for me. But I love doing it. They say you're supposed to love what you do and it won't be work. We're almost done, and I don't even feel like we're nowhere near. But we still got a lot more in the clip. So if you guys appreciate that content that we're showing you guys, double tap the screen, and let's get more people over here, because this next clip is kind of crazy too. This shows some suspects. I think they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, turtles in a half shell, turtle power. Because these fools, yes, in Brooklyn, I'm about to show you a video that shows some suspects climbing into a manhole in Brooklyn. 3 of them was arrested, and 2 of them said, we were looking for buried treasure. Some people are thinking that they might be vloggers or whatever, but I want to make sure that they're not trying to put no boom boom in the subway. So they got arrested. I want you guys to see what's going on in New York. Yes, we got some suspects that want to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's go.
It may look like workers, but police say they busted 3 men for breaking into the sewer system. They're still looking for more suspects and the reason why they went underground. Allie Bauman has more now on the bizarre crime from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn.
Wearing neon vests with tools in tow, 5 people open a manhole in the middle of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. One after another, 4 in total descend down.
Last time I heard about this was Ninja Turtles.
Police say this happened around 5 p.m. Monday on 17th Avenue off 82nd Street. A hand from below closes the manhole cover, and the lookout unfolds a chair on the curb, then gets comfortable.
This neighborhood is always looking out for each other, so when you see something like that, 4 people jumping in a sewer.
So basically somebody snitched, and that's good. Somebody snitched instead of, because we have no patrol, meaning no patrol cars driving by no neighborhoods. So luckily, the neighborhood is always watching. That means somebody snitched.
And then maybe one closing it doesn't look right. And there's no guardrails to protect them.
Police were soon called and started looking in the sewer.
They were at this pothole, and then they came over to the pothole over here. I'm guessing they're thinking they might have pulled through.
The NYPD eventually took 3 people into custody, ranging from 25 to 39 years old. They're charged with burglary and criminal mischief. Police sources tell us one suspect told the cops, "I was hired to clean the sewer," and another said they were looking for treasure.
I don't know what's in there, maybe gold or something.
Police sources tell us the suspects were not employed by a company nor contracted by the city. And while detectives investigate a motive, the neighborhood is buzzing with theories, from searching for jewelry lost down the drain to recording content. Videos can go viral on social media of what's called urban exploring, trespassers sneaking into abandoned or underground areas of New York.
You never know, like you could think it's something like simple as a burglary, but you never know what they're doing.
In Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, Allie Bauman, CBS News, New York.
They may look
Turtle power. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in a half shell. Turtle power. Was that Michelangelo? Donatello? Which one was it, you guys? Which one was it? Oh my God, hold on, what y'all got for me? I went to high school over there for a very close knit area. What else you got? You got, I hope they weren't planting bombs. That's what I thought too. Deacon Blue says, you funny, thank you so much. What else y'all got? Bill Andy says, sounds like a bank robbery. Ocean's Operation Poop Poop. Bill Andy, you always on it. Neo, is there any banks close by? They were planning something. Neo and Bill on it. Y'all on point. All massive, Joe says, all massive cities that we have in the United States and all over the world have intricate tunnels underneath of them. In fact, they're built on top of ancient cities. Oh, okay, Joe, you're right about that because they just showed it. So that means that you were correct about what you said. Deacon, they are still getting charged rent in New York, manhole, $1,000 a month. He basically tried to say somebody went down there to live and they still getting paid $1,000 a month to live in a manhole and to live in the sewer. They thought there'll be movies written about them. New York is too smart for that. Casey said, one guy directing traffic. You saw that, right? You saw when he was directing the traffic. Yo, Casey, you be on point. He picked up the bag and was like, that wasn't no stop sign or no men working. They ain't even try to get no horse. They didn't even try to get the cones. You could have jacked the construction site to get some cones. Like, come on, man. And then you heard what the guy said. This is a tight-knit community. That means as soon as we seen them black people going down in the sewer, we call the police. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in a half shell. Turtle power. I could have sworn that was Michelangelo because one of them had like orange on and he was covering his head. So you never know if those were like the real true life Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Leave them alone. They were probably going to get a pizza. Leave them alone. Okay, let's go. We got to keep on going right now because Trump gave a pretty nice, very good speech that we did not have a chance to hear on Good Friday. And we'd like to hear that speech now. If you guys want to stick around, we can definitely get that out. We could have stopped on that, but I don't want to stick around for a little while. Still got more in the clip that we can keep on running with, but we having a good show, so let's keep on moving. Let's keep on going.
On Easter Sunday, we celebrate his glorious resurrection and proclaim, as Christians have done for nearly 2,000 years, he is risen. Through the pain and sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, we saw God's boundless love and devotion to all humanity. And in that moment of his resurrection, history was forever changed with the promise of everlasting life. As we approach this joyous Easter Sunday, I want to wish Christians everywhere a happy and beautiful and blessed holiday. America is a nation of believers. We need God. We want God. And with his help, we will make our nation stronger, safer, greater, and more prosperous, and much more united than ever before. Thank you to everyone, and have a really happy Easter.
That's from me to y'all too, because I ain't get a real good chance to say it. Whoever's here, I didn't get a chance to say that to y'all. Yes, yesterday was still considered Easter, and it doesn't matter who the message is coming from. If it's a great message, if it's a beautiful message, let's share it with the world. What you guys got to say about them clips? I want to know about them Ninja Turtles. Go ahead and tell me something about the prayer too. Deacon says right now China and Japan, the EU, Mexico, Brazil, Australia, all working together with one common goal: avoid Trump Like the plague, says Deacon. Main Albert says, could probably build a custom home down there if you were sick. MV says, there are ninjas technically, so ooh. Tweaking Panda says, stop with that song. It's gonna stay on repeat in my mind. Laughing my ass off, said Tweaking. Rent in New York is no joke. Casey says, Casey dying laughing. And just for you saying to stop the song, I'm going to do it again. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Turtles in a half shell. Turtle power. And y'all wonder why I come here? I get to do this in the morning, every day, for 166 episodes so far. That's right, y'all. Clap it up. Clap it up for 166 episodes so far. We on our way to 200. We're trying to get to 40,000 subscribers. So if you appreciate the content that we're sharing here, y'all see what the community is like. You already get it. We play the clips. We come back to the community and we see what you guys have to say, and we have a fantastic place to do that. And that's why we created our bottom line. If you want to make some money, go on over to the description and check out the 2 surveys that I put in there today for up to $750. If you make money, I make money. So go ahead and fill out the survey and see if you can get some cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Because we rough out here right now. We need some paper. And also, you know what I got coming up. I got my confirmation yesterday that this is gonna be fantastic. I can't wait to see you guys in the 5 boroughs of New York: Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island. What you're gonna do is come out and show me your talent. That's right, I'm gonna be there at the Show Your Talent show. I'm going to tell you guys where to go, where the location is. You're going to pop up and show me your talent. Don't tell me that I'm not talented, I don't sing, I don't dance. We're talking about talent overall. You can be an artist, you can be a cook, you can be anything that you're great at. I want to see your talent. You might be able to beat somebody and win $250 in cash and be the leader in your borough. Then after everybody in every borough wins and we get one finalized going on, we bring you all together and see who's the best person, and you win $1,000. That's right, Show Your Talent show, sponsored by Big Drip. Go on over to the website www.drinkbigdrip.com, drinkbigdrip.com, and it's spelled like this: 2 G's, 2 P's. I guess I like doubles, took the carbonation out because we ain't messing with the bubbles. 2 G's, 2 P's. That's right, www.drinkbigdrip.com, and be a part of the talent show. I'm going to be hosting. I can't wait to meet you. After we do it in New York, we're going to replicate it in other states. And that's right, I'm going to be out there to see you guys. Also, if you got a business, go ahead and shoot me over the flyer so I can put it up in the post area so everybody can see it and we can get you more business going on. It's your boy Bugatti NYC, and like I always tell you, y'all could have went anywhere. But the fact of the matter that you came here to chill with me, I appreciate you. Have a fantastic day. Don't take no for an answer. Understand that problems present opportunities. Don't let the problem beat you down, because you were woken up by God this morning and you got the resolve and the wherewithal to figure it out. Let's keep it moving. You guys stay healthy. Have a fantastic day. And like I always tell you, you could have went anywhere. But the fact of the matter that you came here to chill with me, I appreciate you. So until tomorrow, y'all know what it is. Let's go. Stay safe. Get 'em. 1. Ha ha.